For all you 250 owners, here's what you do to prevent carbon. Just red line a day, slow as hell red line. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So you guys follow my project. A couple weeks ago I put in that oil catch can. And the last couple of times I've been driving my car, I've been getting a code for too much oxygen or something like that in the system. So I suspect it's got to do with the PCV valve or something's leaking in it. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to test it out. I got to go for a drive right now. I'm going to bypass that can again and put back in the PCV valve the way it's supposed to be. And I'll see if that check engine light comes on, because it usually comes on about after 15 minutes of driving. So I'll go ahead and try that now. So I've been getting this P0171 P0174, I think, low oxygen in the airstream. Kind of gives you the false impression that the MAF sensor is bad, since both the codes go off. If you guys remember my catch can video, I'll have a link up here in the top here. But I kind of rigged a screen on the cap of that thing, and it might not be providing a good seal to give a good vacuum, or it could be that the oil water separator that I added, that thing might be causing some leaks where I can't get full vacuum. So it looks like that same code, P0171 and P0174 that I've been getting. So I'm gonna just go ahead and clear that now and put that PCV valve back and see what it does. This is not good. It fell out the backside, so now I gotta go find the backside hole. Oh man, that was a bitch to get that thing back there. So what happens is the thing is mounted right up here. The tube, the other side of the tube is right at the backside of the intake manifold. And there's a little guide back there, and it goes into the PCV valve right there, which you already know. So if that ever pops out, you got to have some small hands to get back there to kind of get that thing back into that slot on the intake manifold. It took me like 15 minutes. I didn't record any of it, but it was a pain. My arm is all scratched up from trying to squeeze it back there. So I'll go ahead and drive it and see what happens. So I've been driving it for about 20 minutes with the engine on. I had to stop, get something out of my office, and guess what? Check engine light didn't come on. I think my issue was when I screen thing I did on there, it might have left too many gaps on that little gasket. The gasket wasn't really that great to begin with anyways. So now what I gotta do is just take the can apart, remove that screen that I did, tighten it back together, make sure everything is super tight, and then try this again, make sure all my connections are good. So I might get rid of that one little filter that I added in line too, because I think that filter is causing this thing to not pull full vacuum. So I'll go ahead and take care of that when I get home. For all you 250 owners, here's what you do to prevent carbon. Just red line a day, slow as hell red line. So looking at this filter that we had added in line earlier, it actually held and it collected a little bit of oil on the the return line of that, so it was doing its job. I'm wondering if this was causing the leak or was it the can. So what I'm going to do actually, if I run after I test this out and see if it works or not, I might end up putting this back in and just to see if it throws a code or not. If it doesn't throw a code, I'm going to leave it in there and act as a secondary collection for the oil, because obviously I only drove maybe less than 100 miles since I put that can in, and look at how much oil already collected here. You can kind of see right there. But yeah, that's a, you know, it's a decent amount of oil for less than 100 miles, and you can imagine that going back into your intake and just causing all that carbon buildup on the head. So I decided to go ahead and put this hose all the way to the back of the intake manifold. So earlier I was saying how it was a pain in the ass to get back there, and it's even a pain in the ass to get back there with this hose. So what you have to do is to get that hose, there's actually a guide right behind this thing, and you just kind of slip it right in, and then you get, once you slip it in there, you can get it pretty much to line up straight with the nozzle or the nipple back there. And you just slide it straight in. I used that OEM clip that it came with. That it's back there somewhere, but yeah, it's on the back side right against the firewall there. So basically, where your VIN number is, yeah, you just gotta squeeze your hand back there and blindly kind of push it in and hope you get it in there. So I decided to take off that steel braiding that I did last time. It ended up looking too ricey for me, and the black hoses didn't really look that bad even with the hose clamps. Once you put all the panels on, you don't really see much of it or notice it. So hopefully now that I've got everything clamped together, just the straight hoses, that everything's going to be tight and it's going to get a good vacuum seal. I noticed when I was working on this, these little nozzles were kind of loose, so I had to retighten those with a 19mm. The one thing I did change up this time was, you know, earlier when I showed you that I was going straight into the intake manifold nipple with the hose straight to the can. So I did that way, but then I decided to use the OEM angled hose because of the way it comes off the PCV valve. So it comes off at the right angle, so it doesn't crimp or crush or do any of that, and it lets the flow go through. So I did that, and I just turned it this way, and then I just connected it right here with the hose clamps and then the hose connector all the way down to the can. So hopefully now everything's good. You saw that I kind of air tested that on the compressor, and it held pretty good air, so it was a minor leaking out of it. Once it goes into vacuum, it should be fine. It'll pull the vacuum like it needs to. So hopefully that solves that problem that I'm getting with the leaning out of the whatever sensor picks that up, that exhaust gas or that PCV gas. So I'll actually drive around with this for a while, and we'll see how it goes. Hey guys, thanks for watching all the way to the end. So I did go road test the car. I drove it for about 15 to 20 miles. I drove it straight line, and I stopped at some stoplights and drove some back streets just to make sure that check engine light didn't come on, and it didn't come on. So obviously I fixed the problem. I think it had to be that rigged screen that I created on the top of that cap that caused it, because I don't suspect that filter being bad, because, you know, if you use, it's the same filter that you use on like your spray gun or on your air tools, so it's pretty airtight and it lets air flow through it. So I don't think that was the real issue. It was probably that rig that did. So actually next time I open up the can to check if there's oil buildup or to clean out the can, I'm going to actually put that filter back on just to see what it does and if it causes the check engine light again. So thanks for watching all the way in again, and don't forget the merch I talked about a couple episodes ago. It's available on teespring.com. I got a link up here, and I'll talk to you guys next time on the next video. See ya.